it doesn't matter to me. I mean, my goal is to impact the kingdom in whatever avenue he wants me to do it in. And there's no debate.
Welcome to the Getting Better podcast. Thanks so much for hanging out, joining us, and choosing to get better. As always, Gage, what's going on, my man?
What's up, man? School has started back, so that's kind of what's fresh and new for me. Trying to get into routine a little bit.
Yeah, routine. We talked about this just a second ago. I want to be a routine guy. I'm good on life's just not consistent.
It sounds good until you have to actually do it.
No,
Yeah, that's one
I'm
of those
for
things.
doing it. It's like my bedtime's not always the same, which that's probably where I got to start. But that's whatever. Maybe our guest can help us with that today. Mr. Chris Honeycutt, thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely. Bro. So excited to be here. I'm confident that I can't help you at all in your routines because it's terrible. But if I know of any two people that need to get better, it's you two. So.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate
we hear that a lot on here. We hear that.
Speaking of, people call you like the critic in our lead team meetings. Do you know why they do that?
I don't know. maybe I'm critical.
Honeycutt's a nice guy. If you're listening, keep listening. He has plenty to share. That's kind of like an inside joke we joke about all the time. But thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Absolutely.
A lot of stuff good going on in your life. I think I love watching you be a dad. I love just the how much you care about the stuff we do with ministry. And you're a competitive guy, and I think that leaks over into how you do things. Not that you are in a competition with other people or other things, but I think you want to do things well. And so I don't know if that's we'll talk more about that. But like as far as like I think there's something powerful about people sharing their stories, and maybe you don't just go everywhere shouting yours. You'll share some stuff every now and then from church. But as far as like your church background, your start as far as your faith journey, do you remember like the earliest times where that began?
Oh yeah.
And you can go whichever route you want to that.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah. I mean, I've been in church basically my whole life. I mean, from the time I can remember, I guess I should say. I was about 5 years old ish. So I say my entire life, so I guess it's not my entire life, but 5 years old ish, and we lived in an apartment complex, and I got a knock on the door, and some lady with some church. I can't even remember the church. I would love to figure out what that church was.
Did they give you tracts, or is it just an invite?
It was basically just, hey, we would like to invite you to our church. We have a church van. We'll come pick you up. And I went. My mom said yes, and I went every Sunday from the time I was 5 years old. I still have a Bible that they had my name put on it for perfect attendance. And then the next year, I got it again, but I remember having my cousin's name put on it, and I gave it to him.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
And so I love church from the time that I was 5 or 6 years old.
Do you remember what you loved about it then?
I don't know. The interaction with kids. I was the only child, maybe. I remember having a treasure box. I remember obviously learning. I remember a sticker board. I remember that these ladies cared about me, and I mean, it made an impact. Like I said, I would love to figure out what that church was and go back sometime. And this was in Oklahoma. I was born in Oklahoma. And I don't know if you knew that.
I don't think I did. Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, that's kind of where it started, and I never looked back.
Do you remember what age? Of course, you probably remember what age you moved to Tennessee.
Yeah. So I was. I guess I should give you some backstory.
As much as you want.
So I was 4 months old, and my father passed away. He died of a heart attack. My understanding was he was laying on the bed playing with me. He was 50, so I kind of came late in life, and I don't know all the details on the health issues, but heart attack, passes away, and here I am, 4 months old, with now a single mom. And, I remember bouncing around to different apartment complexes. She managed some apartment complexes. And so I had kids to play with all the time. I went to a Christian school, preschool through first grade while I was there. So my mom, even though she wasn't I don't know, I won't say, I guess she wasn't a Christian. And, but she had a past. My grandmother, I remember from childhood, being an incredible woman of God. I mean, I remember her praying as a kid. I mean, so she had that background, from her childhood, and knew that it would probably be wise to allow me on this, to get on this path. But she wasn't. I remember I got to go to church on Mother's Day, at that little church that picked me up, and that was the only time she ever went until we moved back to Tennessee when I was 7 years old or 8. I think I had my 8th birthday here. So second grade, I managed the school numbers better than I do the ages. So in second grade, came back to Tennessee, which is where both sides of the family were from. So this is home, even though I lived there. But yeah, I mean that's kind of that. Obviously, I don't want to breeze over that because that's obviously I look back on so much of my childhood now, and that's made quite the impact. I did have my mom remarried when I was 8 to 15, so I'd had a father figure during that period of my time, but it wasn't always the best situation. He was a little older, didn't really ever felt like he really wanted me. Does that make sense? I was taken care of. It wasn't a bad childhood. There was never really anything negative from my standpoint. Like I wasn't abused or nothing, but never felt loved, never felt cared for from him. And so it was still almost like a single mom thing the majority of my life. And so that's I mean, that's obviously a big part of the beginnings of who I am as an individual. So,
as you grew up, do you know, like, because obviously I knew you as a lifeguard, and we've gone to church together for a while now. But like, you're such a big part of what we do at church and what different things, and I love how you've always brought people along with you. From just since I've known you, you've always bring people along with you with it to church or whatever. You're always, I think, organically like trying to make disciples, which is cool. And I like seeing that from afar, and I want to do that better because I think I do that in programs. I don't do that in person always. That makes sense. Like there's almost a on-off switch. Like, okay, like I need to be on here for it, but then I'm off. But anyways, I appreciate all that about you. But do you remember when there was a time where it's like the faith thing really clicked for you? Was that high school? Was that college when you went to the Cumberlands, or?
Yeah, I mean, really, so I went to a small church prior to where you and I started attending, and I mean, I was still involved. I mean, small church. I remember times there were 12 people in the building. In fact, that's kind of where ministry started for me because I was 12 years old. And I taught my first Sunday school class with the one other kid in the building.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
He probably thought you were awesome too.
I was. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to learn from a 12-year-old? But that was the kind of the start. But I remember I was 18 or 19. I was in college, and I was just miserable, man. I wasn't happy at church. I didn't want to. It got to the point where I didn't want to go anymore. And I looked at my mom and I said, "Mom, I'm not going back. I'm going somewhere else." She says, "Where are you going to go?" And I told her, and she goes, "Well, I guess I'm going to." And
you took 15% of that church away.
I tell you what. And
trying to get at that. I didn't mean that to sound mean. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was just a joke.
It was ups and downs, but they had that solid 12, you know.
Yeah.
But I made the decision to change churches, and at that point, the new church had a youth group. Well, I never had a youth group.
Yeah.
And so I missed it. I was now 18 or 19, and the youth pastor at the time asked me to be. I mean, I hadn't been there long at all, and asked me to be a chaperone to Winterfest.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
And I jumped all over it. And that one event, and I have mixed feelings about big events, but that one event opened my eyes because I saw 20,000 people my age or even younger at that point that were worshiping, and they were there for the same reason, and it floored me. So I would say that was the big catalyst on seeing that, that this was cool. This was okay. I can live my life this way and make an impact on individuals, the best that I could, in whatever way I can. That was a big moment.
There's a couple things, but one thing, Chris, is you talked about, I know you said you had a father or a fatherly figure come in your life for a little bit, but you didn't necessarily feel wanted or loved. And I think sometimes that's a hard thing it depends in whatever situation. So for some people that's easy to understand, for some people it's hard to understand, right? But I think for the people that never grew up experiencing something like that, or at least just for a little bit, how different or compelling is it when we talk about the love of God and we talk about as him being a father? I think sometimes we have and this is totally in a kind of a different direction, and I don't necessarily mean for it to go that way, but like some people don't know what the love of a father is. And when they get the love of the heavenly, I don't know, just can you compare those things or talk about that? Or was that compelling to you, that part of it?
I can't compare that to an earthly father.
Yeah.
I can't. But the coolest thing just about God the Father is knowing, and we just studied the fruits of the Spirit at church, and this is what the first thing that came to my mind is his faithfulness. And when you start looking at, faithfulness as a fruit and knowing that God is faithfulness.
Yeah.
And I kept coming back to that. I spoke on that lesson, and the word that kept coming back to me was constant. And that's when I think about God the Father. He's constant. And I don't have that comparable thing. Not even close, to a father, earthly father. I could say that about my mother. But I don't have that. But knowing that God the Father is constant, no matter what, no matter what the childhood was like, no matter what adolescence and college years and the ups and downs and the hills and the valleys and all the things, just knowing that he's constant, is a great reminder.
Yeah. That's good. I also had another real quick question. This is going back to childhood. You talking about going to church as a little kid. I remember going to going to VBSs and here and there and blah blah blah. And the work that Sunday school teachers and people who do that, what they do is really important. Even just the verse memory. Mm-hmm. Is there can you? And this, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Is there a verse that you can remember learning from around that time or something? Is there a verse that sticks out to you? I don't know. I'm just curious.
Sure, yeah. I was thinking about this other day.
I love this quiz. This should be part of the podcast, everybody.
But how
Do you
powerful.
remember a verse from Sunday school? Ready, set, go.
That's a powerful thing.
You know how old I am now?
Yeah.
That's a long. I'm gonna have
You're
to go
still
back.
young. I wouldn't ask you that a year from now. But
How about this? Gage, do you remember a verse from?
There's one that comes to mind.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I remember being a VPS. This was actually this is the first thing that came to my mind because it's totally unscripted. So there you go.
Welcome.
I came to when I first moved back here. I went to a VBS actually at the church where we met, which was totally unrelated at the time. But I remember that teacher talking about the scripture that I think you used it Sunday, talking about, he goes to prepare a place for us. And, and I think about that story so much now, and it always takes me back to that.
That's cool.
That room.
And how really, when I think about a Sunday school teacher or VBS, somebody that works VBS, what a impact they have on lives of kids who go. That's what brought me to that when you was talking about going as a kid.
I remember doing memory verses when we did children's church together for a little bit. And I remember like the double-edged sword and like doing the motions and everything as we would like
Yeah.
quote it. And it's I don't know, that is powerful. That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
And the VBSs at the church a long time ago, I remember going as like real little kid, and they were awesome. They were really cool. So
Well, and there's a lot of churches that do a lot of. There's a gnat flying in front of my face.
you're gonna kill it.
So if you see me
catch
doing
it.
some weird stuff, like some Mr. Miyagi stuff,
You got it.
sorry.
No, you're good. Are you the guy that likes to send his kid to every single VBS around town for free childcare?
No, no, not.
I think I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah. I've actually, I that's not a bad idea though.
You
to
were Methodist this week, boys.
to steal ideas. Secret
That's true.
shopper.
Oh, there you go.
That's good.
But no, I generally, I like hanging out with my kids.
Me too.
You like hanging out with my kids?
Yeah, your kids and my kid. Yeah, for sure. Where were we? I was going to ask you
That
something.
is hilarious.
Sorry, Gage started that off trackness.
Couldn't help it.
Yeah, involve the Winterfest thing, the big events. Do you have a reason why you're? I mean, if you want to talk about it, we can. We don't have to. But like big events, are you? You say you had thoughts on them as far as good and bad. Like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously they can be powerful.
yeah,
But as early on as working with youth, I seen wave after wave after wave of these kids that were. I mean, we would leave these events where they had a moment. I mean, they had an encounter. They had something happen. I mean, it was obvious. I mean, crying. I mean, you hang out with. I mean, these are dudes, and so seeing them cry, you see them raise their hands, you see them, and then they would come back, and I would hear them say, and it's going to be different this time. And then a week later, it's like, hey, man, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? And so I saw, and I know it can work because it made an impact on me one time. So I know that can happen, but sometimes I question the big event feeling being sustainable, and not being it being more emotion sometimes than really lasting.
I talk about this with my brother-in-law and some other people about events and things like that, and I think they're meant to be catalysts, like it was for you. But the one, and this, I think we all can struggle with this at moments in ministry, is like, I wish I could make people go on a spiritual journey, but it's their spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And I can't force anybody to take
That's a good
steps.
That is.
And so probably the coach in you is like, hey, like get up and
Right. Yeah.
and
Maybe.
that's it. And maybe same here, but like also like as leaders, as people, as just, Christians, not even just leaders, but like, how do we take people on a discipleship process after that? What's the follow up?
But I think that's the key.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's what we're lacking.
That's good.
At our church, I think we're lacking at it in the Big C church is the discipleship side. And I'm go to motion. Motion's phenomenal. We need those things.
I agree.
I'm just saying when we get back, we need to hit those small groups hard. We need to, because we've got to be able to kind of keep the fire burning.
I wish I had a good analogy for it off the top of my head, but I can't think of one. I'm trying. But basically, everything's prepped and ready and primed. It's like, all right, the harvest is there. Like, now we got to hop on it and take care of it and steward the fire and fuel it so it can flourish. So
I think sometimes too, it's like, I can remember going to Winterfest and Winter Jams and I went to Winter Extremes. I mean, I did all of them. And it's like when you, it's like, if somebody raises their hand or they experience that, in my mind, there's a part of me. I think at that time anywhere, I was like, all right, mission accomplished. You know what I'm saying? When really,
like that's the finish line.
yeah, when really, that's really when, it's a journey. That's when the work, I think, really starts, because it's you get them to a decision and then, or a next step, but then you want to keep them. And it's the same for me, Yeah. I want to keep growing too. And I think, you're right. I think that's something we can miss.
It's not the finish line, it's the blocks, and
that's good.
it's,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think I'm trying to get better in this discipleship thing. And I was listening to the Girl Leader podcast from, I guess, a couple of months ago or something, but it talked about basically everyone wants to know, how do you build leaders? How do you do this? And basically he's like, it's just discipleship. Like, you take people out to meals, you ask them questions. Hey, how's your Bible reading going? What's going on in your life? How's your marriage? How's this? How's that? And it's like, I'm not as intentional with my questions and conversations as I probably should be with people who I want to come along.
Yeah.
It's usually like, how's school this week, or how's work going? And like, not that that's bad, but it's like,
but you need somebody in your life that you can talk about those things.
Yeah, and you want to pull people along, I think, and it always takes time too. We talked about the meeting last night, building leaders thing. I think it just takes time and
intentionality.
Yeah, because you didn't get where you were immediately, right?
No, I'm not sure I'm anywhere. But no, it's a process.
No, so you had that moment, and is that when you kind of felt bought in to be being active in ministry, or did you come back from there to tell the youth leader at that time, hey, I want to help out, or what was the kind of a next step for you after that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I started, actually, I guess after that, there was a change with the youth pastor, at that church. And that's where I met your dad. I mean, I'd met your dad through the pool, but he was always playing golf. And so, but then that's where that's when the St. John's became a part of my life on a regular basis. And we talked and we got to know each other and all the things. And
you still broke up fights between me and Spencer playing basketball and stuff.
it's just it's just a vicious cycle. And I remember your dad coming to me and saying, hey, because there was a lady that was teaching a boys Wednesday night class, and said, hey, you want to teach this class? And there was no hesitation. I'd be like, absolutely. I'm just waiting on the.
Why was there no hesitation?
Because I always felt called to serve to young people, to the youth, if you will. And there was a moment where I had an opportunity to invest in these hoodlums, and I took it.
We were some hoodlums for sure.
They were. It was I got broke in good. I mean, it was but it was great. I mean, really, it was. And I was in college, and I went to college about 45 minutes away from here, from our hometown, and I would drive in twice a week. I was teaching a Wednesday night class. I'd drive in, and I'd come home Sunday because I was teaching. And then it went to that Wednesday led to Sunday, and I was teaching the Sunday school at 20 years old, 21, and did that every week.
You said you always felt called. Sorry, I'm dominating the questions, Gage. But
go for it.
You always, like, what does it mean? What is always? Is that like Sunday school when you were a 12-year-old kid, or is that?
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I didn't have a burning bush moment,
right?
Not that I can recall outside of the Winterfest, but I was at that point. I was already working with. I mean, I knew that was where I should at least start.
Yeah,
and I mean, it was just inside of me, that I needed to be, and maybe. This is everything we're going to talk about is going to go back to my dad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll find out.
maybe it all started with the fact that I knew I didn't have that, and I felt like maybe I could be that for somebody.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
And so my whole life, I mean, through this whole thing, I mean, I didn't have a role model, and I had to figure out how to be one myself. I didn't have a dad. Now I'm trying to figure out how to be a dad. Because, and it's the same with, because that led in it from the coaching side and the church stuff. I mean, it's all hand in hand to me. I mean, it's not. I don't look at that as really different job. I mean, it's the same. That's just what I did. I just want to invest in people as much as possible. One, maybe I had an impact from that knock on the door. But then there were so many people that didn't have the role model that I desperately desired, that I wanted to be that. Maybe.
Yeah. That was I was going to ask a question. That was a question I was going to ask. What got you into the youth? And I think, yeah, again, it's maybe not something that everybody experiences, but a very high percentage of people do experience not having a male role model in their lives. And I can in the community, I can tell you, I don't know numbers for here. I can tell you in Jellicoe, 60% plus of the kids just at my school don't have mom and dad in the home.
Mom or dad, or
just both. They don't grow up in the home with mom and dad both.
wow.
And I'm talking 60% plus. That's 6 out of 10 kids. And the way those numbers go, most time it's male. Yeah, most time the male's not there. It's just I don't know why it's the way it is. That's the way it is. And so just hearing that, man, that kind of lights a fire under me a little bit, Chris, because it's such a developmental time for young people. And that's why when we talk about getting into youth and the reasons, I don't know, man, that resonates with me a lot. And I appreciate you sharing that.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
We're trying to get better.
That's
right?
good. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Chris can't take compliments. He cannot do it.
It is a little awkward.
Yeah, well,
There's nobody in here but us,
know.
dude.
that's true.
No, man, I think you're a rock star, and you were kind of a mentor and model for me too. Growing up,
Let's see how much we can compliment him.
Yeah,
See how red my face gets?
Yeah,
and and I'm very, I think back on those times, and I'm very like kind of, I don't know. I was a kid just hanging out. I don't really pay attention too much, but like Gage says, the statistics, and we ran buses at that time at the church we were at, and I'm sure there's a large percentage of kids there that didn't have a male around.
Yeah.
And you were probably, and I know some of those kids now, and they're grown adults obviously now because you're old, but like
True story.
you'll never know.
Yeah.
The side of heaven, right?
And I can't tell you that it's easy, because I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a name in the newspaper, or see somebody walking down the street, or just some, and I just think, man, I missed it, and I carried that. I still carry that sometimes, where it's difficult because you invest so much, and but then you choose to leave a church, you choose to leave a ministry, you choose to go a different direction, and you almost feel like you've abandoned them. I had a hard time with that sometimes, but I mean, we're all human. We all make mistakes, make decisions. Not even mistakes, really. Just we do make mistakes, but
Some people.
some.
I'm just kidding.
No, there is, like, when you're serving in that, you somewhat feel the pressure that this doesn't sound good coming out of my mouth. I just want to forewarn you. Like, someone's life or eternity hangs in your influence because of what you're doing. And the fact is, God can use you, but like, you're not God still, right?
And I think that's where, good. I mean, I don't know if it's a pride, I don't know, but sometimes we want to be that.
I think it's your drive for excellence is like, is there a winning percentage you're trying to get here, or is there a
subconsciously maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'm not trying to psychoanalyze. Yeah. I'm just kind of like, I mean.
Oh, no, this is a Dr. Phil session. Yeah. I can lay down on this couch.
Yeah, your wife actually called us to do this.
Well, I'm telling you, I've got issues. I've self-diagnosed myself from childhood trauma to decisions and the way I carry myself, and I'm just kidding. But
and it is difficult though, because it's like, is there a winning percentage? Obviously, if you're listening, I mean, there's not, but in your mind, my first thing is like, yeah, it's all, 100%.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't do that,
And like I've heard, it said this way many times. We're called to be faithful.
Yeah.
And sow seeds, and whatever happens from there. And that's hard to accept because
hard.
you do ministry and you're in small groups and you just wish everybody would get it and everybody would take steps and like experience God like you do or take the next step. And I don't know, man. It's
But not all the ground's fertile,
yeah, exactly.
you know. And I think you realize that, but sometimes it
Doesn't always make it easier.
no.
When you see someone you invested in and their name's in the paper or something like that, right?
And I mean, it is what it is. You adjust, you keep rolling, but just being honest, sometimes that those times have been where I'll be like, gosh,
But it shows that you care.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was for lack of trying.
no, not. I mean, I've from teaching to coaching, I've said things, I've done things that I look back on like, oh man, I really screwed up, or I shouldn't have said that, or should. But I can honestly say I never stopped trying. I never. There was never a moment where I didn't care.
Yeah, for sure.
And, but yeah.
So fast forward a little bit to where we are now, with church stuff and your involvement. You are extremely involved. Is this, when you look at your involvement now, and I won't, of course, now you're helping you kind of lead the children's ministry and do different things. And what I'm trying to dive into is not necessarily the task, but like your motivation of why you're in this so much. Like,
Yeah.
Because, and we talked about this some last night, but like, not everybody wants to be involved as much as we are or as you are. And want to commend you and compliment you for wanting to basically answering a call to be this involved.
Yeah.
Because one, I think my life is better because of it, and I think there's so many other people's lives that are better because of it. And our church obviously is better. And I think the Big C Church is better because of your involvement and just the way you deal with people, the excellence you have. Is there a moment where you had like, is there a moment where it's like, hey, I know I want to be, I don't know what I'll be doing, but I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life at least.
12 years old and
12 years old still? I didn't know if there was like a moment. Like,
no, I mean, it really was not. I mean, there was never a question. There's
awesome.
never
That is
a
awesome.
moment where I felt like, now the mission, I won't say the mission's changed. The mission's not changed. The avenue in which we're accomplished in the mission has changed. You know, I've started with kids and did student ministry, and then kind of started speaking more on, and then now we're kind of focusing back on children's ministry. So like the car's changed, but the end goal's the same. And that's why it's not a big deal, like, to me. And I should say that, I mean, my first mission, my first ministry is, at least it should be, my home, and how I'm trying to raise these two unbelievable kids and create some kind of big. I want my sons to be incredible men of God. And I think that's where it starts. So a decision to serve students versus start serving children versus, now that may have an impact on a decision that I make. Currently working with children's ministry because my sons are there. But that's, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, my goal is to impact the kingdom in whatever avenue he wants me to do it in. And there's no debate.
Yeah. I think when you're saying that, it reminded me of the, when you're talking about discipleship, right? Lead people to Christ. And of course I don't have children. You have a
14-month-old.
one little girl. I know you got two boys. But discipleship, I think the best place for it, maybe a difficult place for it, but the best place for it, I think you hit it, is it's in the home. It's in the home. Because if you're doing it in the home, where are they at most? Are they at church most, or are they at home most?
Yeah.
They're at home most, right? And so I think back to some things my mom and dad would do, you know, as I was a kid, whether it was reading plans or things like that. And they weren't perfect at it by all means, but it helped me, I think, grow in my relationship with Christ. And I heard a guy say one time, if we were doing that properly, and it just kind of made a joke, but if we were doing that properly, there would be no need for youth groups, you know, which is not true, but because you still need a youth group. But he's just saying how important it is to disciple within the home.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you, obviously that sounds high on your priority list, right? I would imagine.
I want it to be.
Yeah.
Well, for me personally, 14-month-old, and we're already been through the Bible in a year together.
You've already,
And how about your kids,
and
Chris?
you're 2 months in.
Just kidding.
every night right there in the,
Yeah. She hears every word.
yeah. What was the question?
I just,
Was it discipleship in your home? What does that look like?
How important? I
Oh.
mean,
That is. I mean, I've said it already. Like, I didn't have a dad. I had to learn how to be a role model without that. So like, I'm having to figure this out on my own.
Yeah.
So I can't say that it's perfect because I don't know what it looks like. But I do know that, you know, it starts with me telling them I love them, and I'm going to hug them. And my oldest is already at the point where he don't really like that very much right now, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's one, teaching males that it's okay to hug and to, you know, for me to express love to my sons. But that is important to me. I just seen, and I may be going off the, my son is in 6th grade. Just started his first week this week, right? And he's playing football for the first time. Football was very important to me growing up. That's kind of where I found my identity at school, right? I learned I could be good at least somewhat good at a sport, and I sold out to that. And I coached football for 16 years.
Bless him, Lord.
Yeah.
A long time. I just turned 39 this year, and this was the first season since I was 8 years old that I did not
Wow.
either play or coach football. 30 consecutive years.
How does it feel?
Good.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
good. I mean, odd. Like it's odd now watching. I'm trying to be a sports dad, so if you really want to
I'm come watch you.
criticize something, come watch me at a sports game. I'm having a hard time converting from just being a coach to a dad. That's a different podcast. But I watched him within a week. Can I talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I apologize because my father-in-law is a pastor. Okay. And so he would use his kids in sermon, and my wife hated it. Okay. So
we don't like it.
If I talk about my kids in a message, I always ask them permission.
You're a nice guy, dude.
And
It is, yeah.
I have not done that.
I don't think anybody else does that.
I don't ask my wife for permission.
Yeah. Well, I don't care about her. She knew what she was getting into.
Yeah.
No, but I was just so proud of him in the last week. He's got a friend that was nervous about playing in this game. He's got 12 stitches, so he missed his first scrimmage, but his friend was nervous. And I'm not supposed to know this, so I guess I'm about to spill the beans here because he didn't tell me. He told my wife. But he prayed for his friend because he was nervous. And I just thought the fact that he even thought about that,
6th grader.
That's a win.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Then he just 2 nights ago, he put his headphones in and said, I'm gonna pray, or maybe took them off, whatever it was, but I'm gonna pray because his one of his other little buddies got hurt in the jamboree, and he was gonna pray for his friend. I saw at church yesterday. Again, this is unprompted. I'm just observing. He took the prayer request card and he wrote, "Pray for my friend," because he hurt his arm or whatever. And so I've watched him. The other one is younger, but I'm seeing some cool stuff in him
So
too.
you still pray for him, is what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying, now that he's getting in 6th grade, I'm seeing him do things that I know he's observing me do, or us do as parents. And I think, man, I may mess up, but man, I'm doing something right now. And, I even got a little emotional the other day.
For sure, dude. I'm pumped right now. Keep going.
Everybody knows 6th grade's awkward, you know, and I was a shy, insecure kid, and middle school's hard for me, just like it's hard for a lot of people. And I didn't have that dad to help me through that awkward time. You know, I was playing sports, but I was figuring it out on my own. I didn't have anybody to push me, to show me what a coverage was, to tell me how to backpedal, or to throw, or you know, to play baseball with in the yard. I didn't have that. And so now I've seen this moment where I've been able to help my son do something that I couldn't do. And man, it's been the coolest last few weeks, as a parent, as somebody that's trying to, you know, invest in my own home, and I think maybe that's, the coaching was that way too, trying I don't know, but it hits more, because I've struggled with coaching for so long and investing so much time in somebody else's kid and getting criticized for it, because that's what happens. Mama drama.
Don't talk about that one though.
Yeah. But then I you know, oftentimes I was spending more time with their kids than my kids. And so this year has been a time where I've been investing in them, and it's been really, really good. It's really, really good for me, and really good to see that despite going through my life, man, my mom had to teach me how to shave. You know, I didn't have any of that, and now I'm going to be able to pour into these boys, and to show them that it's okay to serve. I mean, it's okay to come to church on Sunday. They're both serving right now in children's ministry and in the parking lot.
I love seeing them in the parking lot. I absolutely love seeing them in the parking lot. Much more, I love seeing you too, Chris, but I love seeing the boys in the parking lot.
No, I get it. They're way cooler than me. A lady at church said that she chose to come to our church because she looked online and saw a picture, and it was my son holding a sign in the parking lot.
That's awesome.
And she said, and he said, "Welcome home." And she said, "I needed that at that moment." And I was like, "Man, you're making impacts you don't even know, man." Just it is so cool. I'm blessed, and I'm blessed to be their dad. I'm blessed to, despite challenges that I've faced that I didn't even know I was facing, because I just didn't know. It was just, pure ignorance. Getting to see some fulfillment out of that, those trials. I don't even know if you call them trials, because I didn't even know there were trials at the time. I just thought that's just my life, you know. Anyway,
and props to you and and your wife. That's, I don't know. Obviously, I think all ages of childhood.
And she does most of the work. I'm just being honest with you. Okay.
Well, I
do
believe that.
Chris was like, "Well, I have raised these two awesome boys."
Yeah, no, she is by far carrying the load.
Childhood obviously is such a developmental time, but I just think, of course, I'm a middle school teacher, so my mind goes to middle school. It's obviously, yes, very awkward time, but some of the most developmental years, I think, come from middle school. Seems like, for me, I think we're starting to figure out who they are. You know, they don't always. Sometimes it takes a real long time, but they're starting to figure that out. And for your son to be able to do that and see that and serve, I don't know. It says a lot about both of you, man. And I know it's not a compliment fest, but that's one I got for you. That's just awesome.
I got one too.
It makes a teacher's job a lot easier. Just be honest, that makes a teacher's job a lot easier.
Well, being a former teacher myself,
Yeah.
going to a teacher and saying, "Hey, I'm on your side here."
That's great. I think the first time I've seen this was Craig Rochelle posted it and said a lot of stuff that kids learn is caught, not taught. And I think your son is catching what you're doing, catching what you and Emily are doing, and I think that's a awesome and beautiful thing that both of them are picking up at. Hey, like serving is what we do.
Yeah.
Like I got Craig, since Craig's in the youth now. I saw him. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get him to go help me get these signs. Of course, he doesn't care because he believes in serving. He believes in making a difference, and he's already praying for kids because like he's seen this and he's been around it. It's not foreign to him, and it's even in middle school becoming who he is, you know. And that's a really cool thing to see.
It is cool. I'm excited to see their growth.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool kids, and I think kind of I went way around the way to get back to the answer to the question, but talking about ministry and why and I think the biggest thing that I've seen, and I did not coin this phrase, but I think I first heard John Maxwell say it. But anyway, I never knew that I was you chop the tree, like you don't know. I didn't know. I mean, I knew I needed to be an example, right? You're called to be to be salt and light, but sometimes you don't see those moments until like this week. But whether it's being a dad, whether it's being just a Christian, a leader, whatever, but consistency compounds. And I think I'm starting to capture that. That doesn't mean I'm not going to screw up next week as a dad, but making those little decisions that, hey, even though it's hot, even though we're tired, even though I worked last night, we're serving. Like we're on the schedule. We're going to serve. We're going to be at church. There's no debate. Am I going to go to church? It was like, this
is who we are.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. And it's not easy. This summer he was playing basketball and I had to pick him up at basketball at 6:30. And then I've been going all day long. She's been going all day long, but there's not a debate. We'll pick you up and then we're going to small group, or the way, or what we're going. And you need it. And, even though you may not want to in that moment, but that consistency compounds, and I think it makes impact later on.
Absolutely. That's principles that he'll never forget. And then I'm the youngest one, so when he's my age, he'll still remember. But even Chris, when he gets your age, that's something he'll still remember. So, no, I think those, man, I don't know. It's such a formative time, and it's very important to teach those principles. So, again, commend you and Emily both for that.
Shifting gears a little bit.
Sure.
One thing I admire about you, and some people find it, everyone's wired differently, right? You're smiling at me.
I know it's coming.
I think it's funny personally, but we have this term that we use at church, and a lot of organizations use it in their culture or whatever. But excellence, and you are very much about excellence, to details, to whatever's going on, and some people aren't that way, and I kind of find myself in the middle sometimes on it, because it's like I want to be excellent on a lot of things, but like, is everything a big deal? Like, what matters most and things like that. So I kind of float back and forth some on that, which makes you not like me, I'm sure. But why do you think excellence matters in what we do? Whether that's our church stuff or your everyday stuff, or maybe how does that play out in your family? Because I think it's literally in who you are. Like, I don't think there's like like I said earlier, we joke around, call you the critic in the room, but like, you just care about what we do and we want to do it well.
Yeah.
And some people, Tim Zupanzik, for example, loves that. That you and him are wired both that way. Like, why are we going to halfway do something? And I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But
Like you're real psychological. I can go back to my childhood and give you some.
I mean, if you want to, but like, I'm just curious because like I think people can be like, man, like why, and they can harp on me too about stuff like why do we have to do it this way? Why can't we just like relax and not do the most? And it's like, why would you not want to do the most to try to get somebody to heaven is my thing.
Yeah.
And if we're competing with the world, it's like we want to be on our A game here. But go ahead.
And even though you kind of said it derogatory,
What's
I'm just kidding. But to me, that is a compliment.
It is for sure,
because that is intentional. I do at a fault sometimes, because sometimes my attention to detail can be overcritical. And so sometimes I find
name one time just for fun.
What's that?
Name one time you think you're over the top.
I mean, there's probably a bunch. But what happens is, and I'm kind of jumping, but
yeah,
I'll come back to it. But like, somebody's got a wide extension cord on stage. Like, I'll look at that and that will bug me to the point that I can't worship. And that's where it's a fault. When I let things like that, a water bottle sitting on I'm saying stage because I'm trying to think of myself sitting in the audience. Yeah. Whatever. A microphone messing up. I mean, it's sometimes it's too much. And so I have to be careful of being overcritical. But I have had this attention to detail thing. I think probably stems from my football days, because I was always undersized. I was always slow. I was always the short, slow white kid that's running around. I mean, that's just really that's the reality of what I was doing in a sport that I found myself being able to be competitive in only because of the attention to detail. Like I had to be. Coach used to call them baby steps. Like, I can't baby step. You might be able to get away with baby step, but I can't do that. And so you
don't have time to waste, is what you're saying.
I don't have any room for error.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to be competitive, I've got to use my brain, my eyes, and my details to be able to get to the point. The same time somebody that's a better athlete or faster than me can get there, and it worked. It worked. I saw myself even getting to the point I remember coming back to I'll just take Coach Schaus.
The man.
Yeah. I mean, by far the best position coach I've ever had, and all the way through college. But I remember coming back and talking to him. And so this is his fault. We're going to have a talk.
I had 121 average in his health class, just for anybody who's curious.
Good teacher.
He was a great teacher.
But I came back and I was like, why are they, this coach is not saying anything about this. And he explained it. And it just made so much sense, and coaching athleticism versus, coaching detail. And I knew that I needed to be detail oriented. So I come back, I'm coaching at the high school I graduated from with a bunch of people like me that are, that are not the best athletes, that are slow, that need that attention to detail in order to be competitive. And I've seen it work, even multiplying that in others for the game's purpose. And I don't know if that maybe is what, stuck. I saw, Chris Busby he trained a lot of the children's ministry thing. I seen that in him. But the attention to the angle of the chair, to the way the sign's held, to whatever it may be. I just seen those little things begin to, what I just say, consistency compounds.
Yeah.
So but consistently being on the mark makes everything flow better. It makes the opportunity for us to be able to reach somebody so much more crisp. I mean, there's 100 other examples I could use. I mean,
I think one thing good you're saying right now is you're not criticizing people, are criticizing like the object or the task. Like, hey, this isn't a personal thing. This is just like, hey, I want to, like, the extension cord is not a personal thing. Let's just fix it, or the microphone. It's like, hey, like the microphone goes out for a second. Let's just make sure we change the batteries or whatever we need to do next time. Or maybe we do a test run so there's not feedback, or make sure the sign's right. You're not criticizing anybody personally, but it's like, hey, I just want the things to be done correctly.
Yeah.
To limit any factor of, any distraction, anything to keep people from, experiencing God.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
As a coach,
or even not even church related. I mean, we're talking about getting better, not just better Christians, but better humans. I mean, whatever it is that you're doing, painting the field. I used to paint the 50-yard line field, and I was like, I'll own that because it
looks so much better now that they did turf, don't you think?
It's
Just
so
kidding.
much,
Yeah,
no,
just
it's
kidding.
so much better.
I'm just kidding.
So much better. I was thinking now as a dad, like they had the kids out there, which would drive me crazy. the having kids out there painting the field. I was like, I should offer to help, and I said, no, not going to do it. I've painted enough fields in my day.
Yeah,
I think too, like from a coaching perspective, it's like if in practice, for example, you're paying attention to detail every time. Well, when you go perform in a game, you expect it to go pretty smooth, right? Now, of course, it don't always, but that's your expectation because, hey, I've put the attention to detail. We've worked on this. Everything, it's going to go to the best of its ability when we do this in a game, right? Whatever it's play, this guy's going to, I don't know. I watch football, don't coach it. Whatever this guy's blocking, whatever. Yeah. For me, it's basketball. It's like, okay, this guy's screening, then this person has to move. If he's late, then our spacing's all messed up. And it's the same thing in our daily lives because at the end of the day, whether we're talking about getting in the church or just getting better in our whatever we do in our life, if we know we're having that attention to detail every time, then I don't think we have a choice but to get better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think I kind of get that. I think from a coaching perspective, because if you're doing that, then you think your game's going to go smoother.
Yeah, well, and it becomes more natural.
Yeah,
right. That
absolutely.
becomes routine. It becomes. I mean, I used to make kids. They would come out. I remember one time made a kid take his visor off in a game because he didn't wear it in practice. And I'm like, you're throwing.
He's trying to look cool, man.
I know. I know what he's trying to do. I know exactly what he's trying to do. And I'm all for you look good, you play good. But if you have practiced throwing, I'll just use a quarterback as an example, all week long with no visor, and then what happens when that visor fogs up in the first quarter? It's just the same thing. I told my son right now in 6th grade, he wants to look cool. He wants to work. I said, if you're going to wear gloves in a game, you better wear them in practice because that's how you're going to get used to catching the ball, whatever it may be. Basketball the same way. If you're going to wear a sleeve in the game, you better wear one in practice because it just looks different, feels different. The way you hold the ball is different.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't practice. I wore ankle braces. I wouldn't practice without ankle braces because I was like, I have to wear these. Like even shoot around. I was like, people go out there and like, flip flops and things. I'm not doing that.
And some of this may be overkill, but we've already established that sometimes it can be over the top.
Does that play out in your home any, the excellent stuff?
At home is where I typically I don't, I wish I was more detailed at home.
Yeah.
Now, in some aspects I am. We just talked about my grass. I want my grass to look good, but
yeah,
which it does. It does. You show me the picture. It does.
It does not run now.
The picture looked really good.
Yeah. Well, we'll wind down here, and I just want to touch on that because I think I think I know why you care about excellence because that's why I care about excellence. But I think
is what I'm saying making any sense to you?
Gage. Does it make sense to you?
Absolutely making sense to me. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I just keep coming back to if I'm going, whatever my goal is, if I'm detail oriented, then I'm going to get
oriented.
Yeah. I'm going to get there, right? If I'm paying attention to that, if I'm having excellence through those things, then whatever I'm trying to do in the long run is going to work out or it should, right? I should expect the best possible outcome for myself.
Yeah. And I will say this too, because the more you now lead, and as much as I now am aware that I've got to be careful that not to be overcritical, but sometimes I say things because nobody else will, and that's where I get criticized sometimes. But most of the time,
Like what you were talking about? Just kidding.
I'll air it out the laundry, No, I'm just kidding. But I think, I'll be honest with you, I lost my train of thought. Thank you. What was I going to say?
You say you get criticized for
being overcritical. Well, see, yeah, where I was going with this ultimately was, if you look at the life of Jesus, I love the fact that Jesus openly said, I didn't come to be served. I came to serve. And so he was intentional with that. And I think, one, that's why there's never a debate on serving. But then, like, he lived this life, and he's showing people how to go about doing ministry and loving people and teaching and all the things. And then before he leaves, he washes his disciples' feet. I mean, to me, that's a detail that something that he's trying to get across. And as leaders, that's where I was going with it. As leaders, we have the opportunity to, show others that he could have just said, hey, you need to wash their feet. But if the microphone messing up keeps somebody from hearing the word that they need to hear in that moment, then we missed it. And that's why, like, it's real to me. If Jesus wanted to just say you need to wash each other's feet, but he showed it. And he got down on their level, and he got down on his knees and washed their feet. He's serving, and he's serving with intentionality. And I think that's why details matter. I think that's why, that's why we need to focus on those little things, and then the little things compound and become wow moments. And you've been a part of wow moments, whether at church or life or conferences or, and I bet you if you really looked at the details, all the details, they're hitting them, the details in those moments where you've had those wow moments.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Sure.
Gage, you want to ask him the last question?
Yeah, it's, like I said, as Gunnar said a minute ago, we're kind of coming to the close, but we haven't made it, right? When we're talking about getting better, we've not made it to the finish line. You've not made it to the finish line. Gunner's definitely not made it to the finish line.
I'm slow and back in the back.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. So something we ask all the time is, what is one area of your life or one thing, whatever it is going on right now, first thing comes to mind even, that you're trying to get better at?
Leadership. I've been actively studying leadership for the last, I'd say, solid 6 months. Really, with my job, I'm kind of teaching a leadership course, if you will, because I see the need for it in the everyday job, and I'm intrigued by it. I think we're real quick to point fingers, and almost always those fingers can be pointed at the leadership, and whether that be me or you or whoever. Again, not throwing anybody under the bus, is literally saying that leadership, is the driving force. And so if we can make leaders better, everything else trickles down. And I've really been studying that, reading. I don't like to read, as you guys probably know, but I've been reading more this year than I ever have.
Tell us a few of the books you've been reading. Leadership ones.
Leadership ones.
Yeah.
I just read. Well, the study that we're doing is I'm doing Clay Scroggins' How to Lead When You're Not in Charge, as well as coinciding that with John Maxwell's Leadership 360 Leader. Can't remember exactly the name of it there. If it's Leadership 360 or 360 Leader, but they're very similar concepts, and been really good. those are the two that I've been focusing on lately.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
I'd love to talk about that sometime too.
Yeah.
But thanks so much for hanging out with us, dude. You're
Absolutely.
awesome, and I enjoyed just get to hang out. I know I've probably giggled more this podcast than the other ones, just because like I feel like I know you so well, so I love slight digs and slight, messing with you.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I'll get you back when I'm not on camera.
that's all right. Thank you all so much for listening and watching, and like, subscribe, share this with someone who you think you can find helpful. Chris is awesome. Gage is awesome. I'm all right, but you are incredible as well. Until next time, keep on getting better.